some of his time in the NFL and things that he's just been doing to, screw this whole thing. Screw that whole one right there.
Screw that whole thing. Stuart's drinking milk. Stuart's drinking milk. Sammy Hagar over there.
Talk 716.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Talk 716. Talk 716.
It's either blue cheese with wings or go fuck.
Talk 716.
It's gonna be huge.
Talk
My favorite part of that is the Joey Diaz. Blue cheese with wings that go.
Yeah, I'm like, how do I do that but still make it tasteful?
So good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And I'm like, how much of the F do I put in there?
It
I
was
went all the
just
way to
enough,
right
too.
before the C. Yeah.
It was just enough.
All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Talk 716, brought to you by Discover 716. My name is Jake. This is my co-host, Jeff,
What's
and
up,
we
Jeff?
are coming at you live from Tecla Bistro here in Sanborn, New York. We'd like to thank them for having us. They gave us a beautiful plate of wings. We just sampled a great lunch from them, too, and a couple of cocktails. We had their smoked old fashioned, and it's just
Delicious.
absolutely delicious. So yeah, make sure you show them some love. Stop on out here. We'll have a link below so you can see what they have to offer. And we are back for our second episode. We would like to thank you for all the love that you gave us on the first one. We got a lot of positive feedback and way more viewers than we were anticipating. So that's great to see. Keep showing your love for us for the 716. And we will continue to try to improve this show here for you and give you something that everybody can be super happy and excited about. And as always, we are going to start our episode off with the top 5. And first up is a story that we got from NBC News about chicken wing prices. Jeff, you want to start off with that?
Yeah, well, word on the street is, I'm sure you've all heard by now, chicken wing prices wholesale are going down. Haven't heard much how that's going to reflect to the consumer, you and me, when we order our wings, because you know we will. But I do also hear that you should expect them to go back up with the arrival of winter and fall sports. Obviously, football, hockey, basketball coming in very soon, coming in hot. So, I mean, if you do see those reduced wing prices at your local wing shop, hop on it before they go back up.
Right, yeah. And it's just, it is interesting to see how, like, yeah, you do have the numbers. Like, I think it was $1.68 per pound is what I read. And just to have that be pre-pandemic levels, but then still we're paying between like what $15, $20 for 10
For a 10 piece.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I get that, times are tough, supply chain, all that, but I think that we could see those prices just come back down a little bit so that they're not just so ridiculous. Like, we used to do 25-cent wings, 50-cent wings. I don't want to like the dollar wing to be the deal now.
Yeah, exactly. What happened?
Yeah. It's madness, but hopefully we can the chicken wing economy can stabilize soon, and we will all be able to enjoy our wings at a reasonable price.
The chicken companies have a stranglehold on the Western New York area too, and they know it because they know we're buying the wings.
Right, the
They know
demand
we
is
won't
always going to
stop.
be there. So yeah, it's craziness.
All right, gang, that brings us into our second topic, which we're going to go into the national recognition the Bills are receiving. Jake and I are both fans of the Rich Eisen show, which you can catch on YouTube. You can also catch our Talk 716 podcast on YouTube. You know that. You're watching it right now.
That's
Keep
right.
checking us out. Like I said, we are fans of that Rich Eisen show. Recently, he was talking about the expectations of the Bills and his expectations personally. Obviously, a lot of high expectations out there. Vegas has us odds-on favorite to win. Obviously, we've had the consistency over the last few years, all points that Rich Eisen brought up in his show. My thing about that is I love the national recognition, like show the Bills some love, but also I miss being the underdog. You know what I mean? I don't want everybody to know and see us coming. I want everybody to think that we're beatable, and then we come out and lay a 40 piece on them. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely. Just like how they, in recent years, we both have watched football together. We're in a fantasy league together. And, we've seen how like these, a lot of sports analysts, especially in the pregame, like those pregame shows, like they just underwrite the Bills every time. They just think that it's just a write-off. It's a nothing team, even though we've shown, number one defense in the league last year. We have so many things to offer, and we're just an up-and-coming team and something to be scared of. And it does feel a little bit like now that we are good again, it's like there's a national bandwagon forming that just, is here now. And like you said, it's almost like the local adage, keep Buffalo a secret. Like, we want to be the underdogs. And like you said, we don't want you to see us coming. We're coming for that ring, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and I don't know how the team does it being so good. They still somehow, even with the national recognition, keep that Buffalo versus everybody mindset. So, I mean, I don't doubt the team at all. I know we're going to do it regardless. I wish we were still underrated.
Right. Well, I mean, just look at game 2 there, preseason game 2, 45-12, or
and that speaks to
42
the depth.
to 15, one of the two. I can't remember. But.
That speaks to the depth of the team. That's what Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean going for. Like, we're not just our starters and then nothing else. We got the depth to go toe to toe with anybody while rotating players, keeping other players healthy, and keeping players from getting gas. So that's how this team is built, and we showed it in that second preseason game.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just really excited to see what we have to offer, especially as we get into the actual season here come September. And next up, we are going to talk about another great local sports team, the Buffalo Bisons. Everybody knows them. Everybody loves them. And this week, we made quite a play. I should say not we, but specifically Gabriel Moreno just hit an absolute dinger into the outfield wall. And that's where it got stuck. It ruled a ground rule double, but we have a clip for that. Why don't we check that out real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
2-0. Drill towards the left field side. Going back is Sharp as that ball is stuck in the pads. And that's a home run called by the home plate umpire, Dane Ponsack.
No, he thought the ball was stuck over the wall, but I think it's stuck right in the wall.
It's right in the wall.
Yeah.
What an absolute slugger. I mean, Jeff, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, dude's one of the top prospects for the Toronto Blue Jays, obviously playing here in Buffalo for the Bisons. So it's no surprise he's got the power. Exit velocity on that was reported to be 111 miles per hour. So the kid's got a bat, and he has already played in the majors this season. Made his major league debut this season, so I'm sure it won't be long before we see him back on the Blue Jays main roster.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Jays. And
well,
no, go Bisons, go Jays.
Go Yankees, but go Bisons.
I know you're a Yankees fan, but I don't know. The Jays have the Buffalo connection.
Yeah,
so
for
that's
sure.
that's why they're near and dear to my heart. Plus, Canada's also awesome.
Brothers to the north, shout out.
Yeah, always showing love. That is a damn fine beverage from Tecla here. That is their smoked old fashioned. I highly recommend that if you come out to Tecla Bistro here in Sanborn, New York, that you give that one a shot. It is so sweet and so smooth and so delicious. And speaking of liquor, our next topic actually has to do with New York State liquor laws. The state announced this week that they are forming a committee to review antiquated laws and provide a report with possible suggestions for updates. The one news article that I wrote said that some of these laws are as old as 90 plus years, which would put them right at the end of the prohibition. So it's definitely, I believe, worthwhile to update. They said that they wanted to look into the liquor license distribution for businesses, try to make that a little bit easier and a little bit safer for both the business owners and consumers that will be, patronizing these bars. So I think that it's a great step to try and modernize. Like, I didn't even know these laws were that old in most cases, but to see just us looking at some things that we need to address, and maybe hopefully that will make for some safer and more enjoyable consumption for everybody.
Right on. I'm not sure what that means for us at the store, at the liquor store, at the beer store. For the consumer, hopefully it means more easily accessible goods and maybe even a little cheaper. That would be great.
Right.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. And so here's cheers to you, 716. And another sad note for our last topic here, and just shout out to Dawson Knox and the Knox family. It was announced this week that his little brother Luke Knox had passed away, and so we want to just send our love out to the Knox family, to the Bills family, and to the Bills Mafia as they get through this time here, and just send our love, because it's a hard time for the Bills Mafia, but I mean, we will persevere, and we will hopefully we'll still have a great season, and this will all be for Luke. And I also know that the Bills Mafia raised something like over $300,000 so far for punt pediatric cancer. So way to go, Bills Mafia. Keep doing what you're doing. This is what we do. This is we know when to answer the call, and I just love that.
Yeah, definitely something positive to come out of something so sad and tragic, and it sucks that we even have to talk about it. But obviously, nothing but love to the Knox family and friends and teammates and everybody. Super sad.
Right, absolutely.
Nothing but love.
And when we come back, we are going to try these wings here from Tecla and give you a little review on that and some of the food that we just tried earlier. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk 716, everybody. We'd like to thank you again for joining us here on YouTube at Discover 716, no spaces, and Talk 716, also no spaces. This is our second episode here from Tecla. Thank you again for having us. Thank you for this amazing food. We're about to try some wings here. But first, we just want to let you know what's coming up in this episode. We have a great interview that I did a few months ago with Lorenzo Alexander, talking about his foundation, talking about his time as a Bill, and in many other NFL teams. He made his way around the NFL, and really it was his best time was spent here, but we just get to talk about like just the differences of being on different NFL teams and how Buffalo compares to the rest, just like we did with Butch Roll, who, as we know, he said there's no comparison to the Bills Mafia, but we already knew that. Right now we're going to try some wings here from Joe, the head chef and owner of Tecla. These are some charred barbecue habanero wings that we're going to try. Specialty here on the menu right now at Tecla. And once again, thank y'all for having us here in Sanborn for this. And
shout out to Joe. He's a great guy. Owner and head chef. Amazing dude. Great place. I don't know why we're always doing it.
It's got that nice sticky sauce on it. And a real nice kick. A real tangy barbecue sauce, too. It's
This is, wow.
Yeah, you get a really nice, like a really nice base heat, and then just the sweetness of the barbecue sauce. This is amazing.
It's sticky. It's sweet. It's spicy.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be able to operate the buttons after this one.
Oh, my God.
We put all the napkins underneath the plate so it could get in camera.
The food here so far has been amazing. Honestly, it's been top notch, top shelf.
Yeah, Jeff, that's right. Sorry, I had to swallow there. But yeah, we tried their classic spaghetti and meatballs. The meatballs were to die for, as was the pasta, but it's just so great. And then I believe there was some pulled pork tacos that you got to sample, and some gnocchi. They got some really great pasta dishes here at Tecla. Make sure you come check them out. And they are also available for private events. I know that right now upstairs they are actually hosting an event. Well, they are hosting us here, and we thank them for that, because busy day for you guys here, but the service has been outstanding. Like Jeff said, Joe has been incredible, as has his staff. So once again, just thank you so much for having us here. And also, once again, we would like to thank Discover 716 for putting on this podcast, helping us get out there and give you all the news, keeping you in the mix at what's happening in the 716.
That's right.
And we will continue here with an interview from Lorenzo coming up right now. First, I have a couple questions just about Buffalo culture in general. I don't know. Are you a wings man at all?
Yeah, I eat wings. I enjoy them. I mean, my favorite is bar bills. That's kind of what I fell in love with. I know people love Doves, and there's some other ones out there that people enjoy that grew up in that culture, right? That grew up there from birth. But when I got there, bar bills was kind of my favorite.
Absolutely. I know that's a great one. So drums or flats for you?
I'm actually a drums guy.
Drums guy? All right.
Yeah.
And then the most important question, ranch or blue cheese?
But I can do either one, but I prefer blue cheese.
Blue cheese. All right. You've been a couple different cities, played for a couple different coaches. Just want to feel out, and just because I'm a Buffalo fan, don't feel obligated to say Buffalo. So first one, favorite team you played for?
It probably was Buffalo. I mean, Washington was also one of my favorites, just because that's where I became a part of the NFL family, right? Kind of came out as far as being a player that could, play on this level, especially on special teams. And Buffalo was different because I was married. I was married in Washington too, but that organization was much more family oriented, inviting family in to participate as part of the organization, as well as the fan base, off the field things that I did. And so both of those were near and dear to my heart, but I would say Buffalo, because of the off the field interactions that I've had, probably would beat out Washington because of that.
Okay. So how about, who was your favorite coach?
Danny Smith. If you're not talking the head coach, if you're just going straight up, just coach overall, really enjoyed Danny Smith, special teams coach in Washington. Taught me a lot about the game, and again, helped me get a foothold into the NFL. Okay. And did you have a head coach, just out of curiosity, or? Favorite head coach? It probably was Sean. I mean, I respected a lot of the way he went about his process, right? I know that's a word that's overused in Buffalo, but just his whole setup, the culture that he's established. And then, being an older guy, when I got around Sean, I got to know him differently than most of the other coaches, being a younger guy with the other organizations, and a lot of those coaches being in their 60s and 70s and not having too much in common.
What was your favorite city that you lived in and played in?
Washington.
I
mean, just so much to do, obviously.
Right.
In the nation's capital, going to the White House, the monuments. And DC was much different than what I grew up in Oakland. So it was really cool to kind of be in that environment and just everything that was happening, there on Capitol Hill, and just kind of in the middle of everything.
Okay. All right. With Buffalo getting the new stadium just announced, what was your favorite stadium? And that could be any that you visited or,
And it's always different for a player because I'm playing in it, so I'm not looking at it from a fan perspective.
Right.
So probably, what's the last stadium? I ain't playing none of the new ones. I hate to say this, but I probably enjoyed Dallas. Is probably one of the best ones.
Okay.
As far as I played well when I was there. They had great amenities for the players as far as the locker room and hot tub and all the stuff that matters to me on game day.
Okay. Yeah.
So I probably have to say the Dallas stadium.
So, we talked a little bit about your time in Washington. How do you feel about the new name? How do you feel about the Commanders?
It's okay. I was a small piece of that process with some other alumni. That wasn't our first choice at all, but obviously the organization is making decisions that they think is best going forward. And I mean, at some point it will become more natural. I think it's just so different than what we're used to. That
Right.
It sounds awkward, and it wasn't on the top of my list. So I'm kind of like, So Matt, I guess this is how I feel about it.
All right. Yeah, I can feel that. And that kind of feels like the response that I've gotten is like it's very lukewarm, but I feel like yeah, people will come around, like you said. So I did want to talk a little bit about your foundations, the ACES Foundation, correct? Yes. Can you just tell me a little bit about that to start?
Yeah, I started back in 2008 with my mom, my aunt, as well as my wife, to give back to inner city youth, primarily in Oakland. That's where I grew up at. I come from a low income family, and I was exposed to, Oakland in the late 80s, early 90s. I had these issues with gangs and drugs and violence. And so trying to help young people navigate that space and realize that's not their only option, but they've been gifted to do great things in life, and trying to provide resources in relationships that will allow them to achieve things that they want to do in life. Is the main objective. We do different programmings and provide different resources to achieve that. But at the heart of what ACES is about, it's about developing young men and young women from low-income homes and trying to develop accountability, community, obviously putting emphasis on education as well as sports, and really using those things to gain access to higher education and to different communities that you necessarily wouldn't have access to just merely based on where you were born.
So your time in Oakland inspired this, like growing up and just like you said, experiencing the hardships that you've experienced. And this is just to give back to those kids and give them that opportunity to not experience that and maybe get an opportunity through sports. How has that impacted your life and the lives of the people that you have, or the kids, I should say, that you have worked with?
Well, for me, I mean, I get to see and meet people that are inspiring on so many levels, overcoming different things. And we've expanded past Oakland. We've done things in every city that I've played in, including Buffalo. And
Okay.
just seeing the resilience of people that have to deal with certain things that just are not ideal, things that I've been fortunate enough to not have to raise my kids in, and seeing people's humility, a willingness to give and serve, even in the current circumstances, is really impactful for my life. And then watching and just seeing the development of someone's gifts or abilities as they go through a program, or maybe I come and talk and they understand something a little bit differently. It's really been fulfilling. At the end of the day, my purpose in life wasn't to play football. It's really, I think, to help people become the best version of themselves, maybe through some leadership or personal growth, whatever that looks like, for that specific individual or group of people that I may be serving. And to have people at some point, come back and say, hey, so man, I really appreciated when, like, I had a group of kids from DC. I took them to California to go to Cal and Stanford to visit those campuses, Silicon Valley. Like, man, I didn't even know this was out here. Just to help them shift their perspective and open their eyes to some things that they otherwise wouldn't have seen, to allow them to, oh man, I can do this, right? It's probably the most fulfilling thing that I get to experience working with young people.
What are your future plans for the foundation? Do you have, like you said, you've expanded to a couple cities that you played in and you're trying to expand. Is there any other future plans that you have for the organization?
Yeah, well, currently trying to figure that out. Obviously through my time just living and serving and playing, I've met a lot of great individuals, and a couple of old buddies that I have kind of dating really back to high school. We're actually trying to figure out how we can establish a Black school geared towards Black boys. If you look at all the statistics right now, that's one of the most challenging groups as far as being undereducated, reading level, incarceration rates, right? And it's one of, and obviously I'm biased, one of the most gifted groups, right, that we have, that have a lot to offer and give to the world and society. And obviously being a part of this group, I just hate the way we're often perceived as Black men, or the stereotype around it. And so if I could be a part of cultivating a culture of a new generation of young Black boys and the manhood and what that looks like, and developing their passions and capacity to impact the community as a whole, looking for ways to do that, and primarily through creating a school geared towards them, right? Because again, like I said, I can show up and talk to kids for 15 minutes or an hour or spend a couple of days with them. But at the end of the day, they end up going back into their environment, right? I'm no longer there because I have my own family, and time is always an issue when you're trying to impact people. And so if we can create this environment and culture, much like a team setting, right, what we see Sean McDermott do with the Buffalo Bills, if we can create that environment for young Black boys to nurture and cultivate them, then that the impact or our goal or mission that we all strive to do in these adverse communities, I think is increased significantly, because they're removed from the challenging culture and now placed around people that care for them, love on them, and are equipped to help them reach point A to point B and deal with all the challenges that you're going to face on that pathway.
I have one final question for you. And I think I kind of know where this is all going to rank out here, but I have just a couple professional achievements that I want to see if you can rank for me. The first is breaking the playoff drought with the Buffalo Bills, your 2 Pro Bowls, and then creating the Aces Foundation. Where do those rank up for you as far as professional achievement?
Probably the first one is last. So Aces 1, team 2, and then the Pro Bowls 3.
Okay.
As far as, what I've been able to do in my career, and just the impact those things have had, not only on myself, but really the impact and influence it's occurred in other people's lives and the legacy that leaves.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I had a feeling, especially with how far the foundation has come and where it's going, like that was definitely, and then obviously for me as a fan, the playoff drought is number one, but
Right.
Mr. Alexander, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to interview just a little fan and college student for this little project we're doing here. So once again, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother.